from Taiwan. Welcome to the GCN show.
From Troismont, near Caen in France, welcome to the GCN show.
Hello, I'm Ian Gottlich, and you're watching the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show. This week we are discussing who's the toughest fixed gear racers or roadies, plus side plants a pansy in a pothole.
Yeah, so not very tough at all, but there is a good reason for it. We also have some very interesting tech of the week. We wrap up some brilliant racing, and we have all of our usuals as well, including a sincere apology this week for Chaingate.
I should think so too.
I am sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
Who's tougher? Fixed gear riders or road racers? Well, the Red Hook Criterium tore up the tarmac of Brooklyn over the weekend, and it felt like it was cycling's punk rock as opposed to the classic rock of road racing.
That's right. In its 10th year now, the Brooklyn event marks what is currently the first round in an international series. And if it's not been on your radar before, then let us explain. It's basically Criterium racing on fixed gear bikes, so no freewheeling, and also no brakes. Yes, you heard that right, no brakes.
Bonkers.
Bonkers.
The men's race was won by Stefan Schaefer of Specialized Rocket Espresso, and his win was made all the more impressive by the fact that he didn't qualify initially, which meant he had to do the last chance race. He only came second on that, which in turn meant he finished at the back of the grid in the final. The women's race, meanwhile, was won in a sprint by Colleen Gulick.
Yeah, I've got to say, Dan, I absolutely love this event. The bikes look amazing, the crowds are amazing, even, dare I say it, the danger. But I am intrigued. Clearly, these are some seriously talented bike racers, but I would like to know what would happen if you put a top pro road sprinter in the mix. How would they actually get on?
Maybe before we think about that, we should take a closer look at the women's winner, Colleen Gulick, because she is a multiple-time national champion on the track, and she's also very well known in the US scene at the crits. So I guess those are two essential skills which, when put together, made her quite a big favourite really for the weekend, despite a lack of experience in that particular race.
Well, as you say that, if it's a lack of experience that she had and she still won, what would happen then if you maybe stuck like Marianne Vos in there, the world's greatest ever all-round cyclist? You know, she's got a track Olympic title and world title to her name. Could she be persuaded to do it? The men's scene already has quite a few ex-pro ringers in there. So one guy that used to be the star of the Red Hook series called Ivan Ravioli, and he actually used to be a pro for Sonia Duval back in the day. And although his palmares on the road weren't anything necessary to write home about, he clearly found his niche when he went into the fixed gear world.
Yeah, which makes me wonder whether a different skill set completely is required to excel.
Right, yeah, maybe. So let's have a think, shall we? It's bunch racing with no freewheeling and no brakes. No brakes. I'm not sure I've said that before, but they have no brakes.
And actually, the more you think about it then, you do wonder whether actually the best suited riders to this style of racing are sort of track endurance types, the likes of Mark Cavendish or Fernando Gaviria or Elia Viviani. I mean, Mark, for example, is a double world champion in the Madison, and that's very chaotic.
True, but they only turn left.
True.
That's right. What would happen if Mark Cavendish had to turn right on a track bike? We don't actually know.
No. Anyway, I was reading a very interesting interview recently on Velo News with Colin Strickland, who actually won this event last year, but this year also finished as runner-up. Now, he actually said in the interview that he relies more on his time trialling skills because there's not apparently that much of an advantage to sitting on the wheel behind a big group, which in turn makes you think perhaps it's more suited to a pursuiter type rider, maybe a Rowan Dennis or a Jack Bobridge.
Well, fair enough, if they can turn right. The interesting thing, though, is that actually there are an awful lot more tattoos in the Red Hook scene than there are in the pro road peloton. So I wonder whether actually a Brandley Wiggins, pursuiter, World Madison champ, and heavily tattooed, maybe he would be the star to cross over.
He probably doesn't have the bike throwing skills though. Do you remember when he threw his bike at the Giro del Trentino and it neatly nestled against the mountain wall?
Yeah, not enough aggression there, Bradley.
Whereas at the Milan round of the Red Hook Crit Series last year, you might remember old Jezza. He was on borrowed carbon bike, got frustrated with it and smashed it on the ground, in turn breaking it.
Jeremy. Greatest ever bike throw, but seriously, what was that about? I do think, actually, that roadies probably have the edge when it comes to pure fitness because, let's face it, road racing has been established for longer, and because the riders there can make more money, they can be 100% committed full time, whereas part of the appeal of fixed racing is that actually they're your local hitters who can just get out there, shred on the weekend, and then also work during the week. Yeah, but I think actually if it came down to a straight fight, I think the skill set of a fixed gear rider may well actually edge it in a full race.
Do you know how we could actually find out what's best suited to this type of riding?
I don't know, how's that?
We could give it a go.
It's time now for Caption of the Week. Your chance to win a GCN Camelback water bottle, as modelled by Dan. Now, last week's caption photo that we asked you to caption was this Rigoberto Urán, and the winner that we trawled through hundreds and hundreds of entries is John Andrews. Congratulations, John. Your caption of, I know I look like a rock star, but it's Urán, not Duran.
Was genius compared to our efforts, at least. Get in touch with us on Facebook, John, and we shall get this out to you in the post as soon as possible. This week's photo comes from that Tom Boonen party. Here it is. We shall get you started. What's with these people in second and third places stealing the thunder in the photos? That is my best effort. If you can do better, leave your captions in the comment section just below this video.
Yeah, and if you're wondering what on earth Dan's on about, make sure you watch last week's GCN show, if you haven't already.
It doesn't make it any funnier.
No, it doesn't.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
We shall kick off cycling shorts this week with some news which is very local to us, the battling of potholes. Si's been out and about.
Now, it is a rare occurrence that we get to rove during the GCN show, and it's even rarer that I get to do some gardening. But bear with me, this is relevant, because you see, potholes are increasingly becoming a problem, certainly here in the UK, but I would imagine wherever you are in the world. But right here in our local community, two men are attempting to do something about it. So let's see what we've got planned. Right, Jason and Mark, nice to meet you guys. What are we doing today, and why?
So what we're doing is we're going to plant some plants in potholes in a visual way to put a smile on people's faces, but to highlight a serious problem, because potholes obviously are potential death traps for cyclists, for motorcyclists, and also incredible damage to cars. So that's the idea today, to highlight the issue to the local community in Bath, but obviously to a wider audience as well.
Yeah, so pothole pot plants. And in the past, has this actually been successful, the council doing something about it now?
Well, they've been awarded money from central government to quite a lot of money actually to fill them in. So what Jason and I have done is really draw awareness to the fact that people can do something about it. Go online and report where they are, and the council will come and fill them in.
Nice. How long is our pot plant going to last today? What's the life expectancy?
Probably about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. All right, fair enough. It's a peaceful protest, but one plant will be harmed during the filming of this process.
We're going to give them the best chance possible, but where the cars will actually, obviously it does, again, what it does is it does highlight there's a problem. So instead of, so in a way it does warn people that there is a pothole here.
So as any keen gardener knows, we first of all need to give the plant the best start in life. So we're choosing a rich compost. Is this a multi-purpose standard compost? It's going to take a whole bag to fill this one, isn't it? This is a big pothole. I can hear a car coming. Quickly, bit of water.
Let's give them the best possible chance.
Absolutely, yeah. Bed it down. There we go. Our very own pothole pot plants. A very cool way of highlighting a genuine issue there.
Out of interest, Si, how long does that solution actually work for?
Apparently in this case, 15 minutes.
Right.
No, to be fair, it did last a little bit longer. I think people liked the pansies and they drove around them, so it was fine. Now, elsewhere,
bit like they go past you on the bike.
I'm gonna just pretend that wasn't an insult. Now, elsewhere, there has been some excellent news in the world of cycling, particularly in New York, because the current mayor, Bill de Blasio, has set aside $100 million in order to complete a missing section of Greenway. So once it's finished, that's going to allow cyclists to ride around the whole of Manhattan Island without going onto a main road. How cool is that? That'll be 2020, hopefully, they'll be finished by.
That's awesome news for the local cyclists.
Well, and tourists too.
Yeah, well, from super safe to super sketchy, there is a new competition in 2017 at the Giro d'Italia, sub-competition, for the best descender. So 10 of this year's stages are going to have specific downhill segments which will be timed, and there's a prize available for the fastest rider down each segment, and also an overall prize for whoever racks up the most points, which sounds extremely entertaining, but I'm not really sure that we should be pushing pro cyclists to descend faster than they already do, and it's certainly drawn a lot of criticism from current pros.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Twitter was on fire from that. Joe Dombrowski's suggestion that perhaps they get Band-Aid to sponsor the best crash of the Giro, you know, well, it makes a valid point actually, but that would be quite an interesting competition. Anyway, my problem with that actually is that we're not even going to see the best descender because it's likely to be someone doing it in the bunch a long way from a TV camera.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, there we go. Now, someone who is probably going to be quite glad that they're well away from this new and slightly sketchy world is Tom Boonen, because he had his last ever race, his farewell event that took place just the other day. It was called Tom Says Thanks, and it attracted 20,000 people to his hometown of Mol in Belgium. And it was a star-studded affair. He had Peter Sagan there, Philippe Gilbert there, Pipo Pizzato made an appearance, and also legends of the past as well. Johan Museo narrowly out-sprinted, and I use that word loosely, Eric Zabel in the old boys race. Looked cool.
Yeah, well, what caught the headlines for me in particular, though, was the on-stage party. Here's Tom Boonen throwing some downright moves up there on the stage. Clearly at home. I think that's something he's done before many times.
I think it is, isn't it?
I tell you what, I haven't seen scenes like that since probably Outdoors 2013, I reckon.
Oh, that was an epic. Or the Ghent 6 Day, actually, 2013.
I've had at least 8 mineral waters myself. I'm not sure what the others have been drinking.
Or the World Cyclocross Championships in 2016.
Or the GCN show, 2017. Right, now taking it down a notch or two now, and the young Italian rider Gianni Moscon is being disciplined by his team following an incident at the Tour of Romandy in which he used racist language towards FDJ's Kevin Retzer towards the end of stage 4. Now, the team have banned him for 6 weeks and are sending him on a diversity awareness course. So it's great that some action is being taken, but a lot of people calling for slightly harsher penalties, perhaps.
Yeah, they were indeed. Anyway, it is with huge sadness that once again we have to finish cycling shorts this week with some very bad news indeed. 21-year-old Chad Young unfortunately passed away at the weekend. He's a rider from the Axeon Hagens Berman cycling team. He'd suffered a crash at the Tour de Gila the previous weekend and was unable to recover from his injuries.
Yeah, our condolences go out, of course, to his family, his friends and his teammates at this difficult time.
We shall begin racing news this week with the men's and women's tours of Yorkshire, both of which drew in enormous crowds, which rival even the biggest races in the world. The men's race started with 2 days of bunch sprints, won by Dylan Groenewegen and Nasser Bouhanni respectively. However, the stage 1 finish was marred by a particularly big crash. Magnus Cort Nielsen and Russell Downing were amongst those worst injured. They were both forced to withdraw from the race. Stephen Kruijswijk was on the floor.
Oh, no.
Looked bad for him. However, he did manage to get up and finish the following day stage, but withdrew before stage 3 in order to be 100% for the Giro d'Italia. You will be pleased to know, side, that it wasn't a GCN curse because none of us predicted him to win the Giro this year.
No, that's the exact reason why he was able to carry on to the next stage, and the exact reason why he's going to win the Giro d'Italia this year. Right. Yeah, you can thank us later, Stephen. Now, the final stage of Tour of Yorkshire was definitely the most selective and spectacular. I was particularly impressed by the climb of Shibden Wall, which is 1 kilometre at 15%, with the last half the steepest and on cobbles as well. Yeah, that looks particularly brutal. We should definitely send Last at that one. The actual action, though, didn't really kick off until a little bit later when Serge Pauwels of Dimension Data took a flyer over the Côte du Wigtwisel. I challenge you to find a better named climb in the whole of pro cycling. The only rider to see Pals before the line was his teammate Omar Freeley. The pair of them just stormed away, didn't they? And that was actually incredibly Serge Pals' first ever victory as a pro. And he got two on the same day.
One, really, as well. Yeah, two wins now.
Stage win plus the overall. So yeah, brilliant to see.
Looking at that photo though, Si, reminds me of a message that we got from Jay Hart on Twitter, who wants to know, is this kind of two-rider victory salute allowed? And since you seem to be the adjudicator of all things celebratory in cycling these days, I wanted to get your opinion.
Yeah, I did throw the cat amongst the pigeons last week, didn't we? Anyway, right. I did, yeah. I think this is perfectly acceptable. Not just that, it's absolute class. Two teammates storm away and get 1-2 like that, then they both deserve to put their hands in the air.
I'm glad you said that, because I agree, and particularly well deserved actually for Dimension Data. We've had a pretty difficult season so far in 2017. Right, well the women's race had a hugely popular winner in the form of local rider Lizzie Dygan. That was her first win of the season and also at that particular race. She'd been away with Danny King and also her teammate Anna van der Breggen, the woman of the Ardennes, but ultimately she managed to drop King with about 10 kilometres to go and solo to victory by a margin of 55 seconds from Corinne Rivera in second place.
Yeah. Now over in Switzerland, the Tour de Romandy saw some massive performances from several riders. Richie Porte took the overall victory following second place in the final stage time trial and also on the Queen stage. Simon Yates, who won that Queen stage with a particularly impressive performance. Ellie Viviani took a sprint win despite being told on that very morning by his team that he wouldn't be racing his home race, the Giro d'Italia.
100th one as well.
Oh man, poor lad. And then also Primoz Roglic continued to astound in time trials. He took the final stage and third overall. Obviously very at home on skis.
Yeah, good one, Si.
Thanks.
One of the bigger talking points, though, was the less than massive performance from a certain Chris Froome of Team Sky.
Yeah.
He got dropped quite early on the Queen Mountain stage, and then in the time trial, he only finished in 9th place. He didn't seem outwardly concerned by his performance, but when you look at the past 4 years of his participation at that race, he's either won a stage or at least finished on the podium, or sometimes both. So you do wonder whether it is of a bit of concern to him and the team, and it might give confidence to some of his rivals leading up towards July. In particular, Richie Porte. He's on fire, isn't he?
Yeah, or Nairo Quintana. Maybe the double looks more doable now.
Potentially. Now, we've had a few questions recently regarding the progress of a certain John Chocolate Voice Bevan as he continues to train towards the Oat Route coming up later this year. Well, coming up is exactly how he's getting on.
Hi guys, well you join me at the end of a absolutely brutal VO2 max interval session. It's really testing my aerobic ceiling, as they call it, and it's probably not too pretty to watch, but turns out it's probably the most effective way of getting fit really fast in a short period of time, as well as the odd commute here and there during the week. I've been adding in some longer steady rides over the weekend just to get used to spending that long time in the saddle, that kind of endurance that I'll be needing for the event itself. It's actually a pretty big few days for me. Once I finish this training block, next week will be my third threshold test, and I'm hoping that I'll see a few more gains. But I'll keep you updated on my progress in the next few weeks.
It's competition time now. We have 2 winners to announce, and that is down to the fact that we completely forgot to announce this first winner last week. So
you didn't need to say that, mate. You didn't need to say.
No, I always own up to my mistakes. Anyway, the winner of the Mavic Comet shoes is from Sweden, and his name is Patrick Tarlen.
Whoa! Congratulations, Patrick. We will be in touch, and you will be getting yourself a pair of Mavic shoes very soon. There is one more competition, Dan. As you said, it's for the Envy SES 3.4 wheels, and the winner is Stuart Garrett. Congratulations, Stuart. You are getting yourself a very, very lovely pair of Envy wheels.
Yeah, lastly, we'll be in touch with both of you in the near future, but he is on the ground at the Giro, so if you don't hear anything in a few days, don't fret.
Yokay have just released what they're describing as an unstealable bike. So what's really interesting is the fact that the frame and the seat post themselves are actually part of the lock. So if you were to try and steal it, you would need to cut through the frame, which would then presumably make the bike not ride quite as well.
No, I would imagine it would change its handling characteristics. Yeah. What struck me from the press release, though, were the statistics on bike theft and the sheer volume, really. People in the know apparently have estimated that in the world, every 2 seconds a bike is stolen. Now, I've just looked up how many seconds there are in a year, and it equates to 16 million bike thefts. And in Berlin alone, there are 26,000 per year, which is 500 a week, which is a lot.
That is an awful lot. But bike theft sucks as well, doesn't it? That's a really horrible statistic. I do remember, actually, that we can all do something a little bit about bike theft, and that is just don't buy stolen bike stuff.
Time now for hack/bodge of the week. Starting us off this time around is Julian Howell, who sent this to us as a message on Facebook. These are some elastic bands which he has used to prevent his bottles flying out during the Dirty Reaver, which is a 200-kilometre off-road race. And he said he didn't lose any bottles even on the mad gravel descents.
It's a good hack, that. Although, well, I suppose they're colour coordinated as well, aren't they? Yeah, fair enough. That's a great hack.
Trying to pick faults in it, couldn't find any.
Well, come on, this is hack or bodge. We can't be generous here. Right, next up, Cone Palman. I like this one. He cut an inner tube and put it over his race trip on his forks to make it his race chip on his forks to make it look super integrated. I like that, actually.
That does look quite very neat. I'm going to deem that a hack.
Yeah, for sure. That's a definite hack. To be repeated, I think.
Tim Malone doesn't want to invest in an air hub to give him extra resistance. So this is what he's come up with, which I would imagine would provide quite a lot of extra resistance. But I do like the fact that he's still in his drops.
Yeah.
He's kind of trying to get more aero whilst providing extra resistance from an umbrella.
Do you know what would be a hack as well? Is if you put that on the front of his bike, and then in bad weather, it would probably
propel you forward.
Well, no, keep him dry.
I see.
So, like, actually, you know, take the rain off. So there we go.
Might
Two hacks
see where you're going then.
All right, but anyway, this person here, Dales Andrews, he's pretty much seen exactly that. Yeah, a fairing on a bike. That's a particularly nice looking one as well, isn't it?
He's not done a bad job. I think that works.
Dimpled.
Definitely not UCI legal, so bodge.
No, and you wouldn't want to crash either with a sheet of metal on the front of your bike.
Is that
pointing
metal?
backwards. Is it not?
I don't know. James Peck 92 on Instagram was struggling to pump the tyres up on his disc wheel. Common problem. He didn't have an adapter himself, so he made one.
That's cool. That looks really neat, actually, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I don't quite understand
end of a
it.
compressor, is that? Anyway.
Yeah, nice work. Definite hack. God, we're doing well for we were doing well for hacks, and now Dan's put some more chain keepers in. Who's this, Dan?
This is Hey Stephen BW. Sorry. He's just used a 15mm bolt and nut and spare parts from the office, interestingly. Instant chain keeper. That looks very neat. This next one, though, even I may admit, is a bodge. It's a champagne cork, just wedged in and used as a chain keeper.
To be fair, mate, it looks all the same as all the rest of the chain keepers we've never seen. You know, I'm actually getting trolled with chain keepers now. Someone sent something in on Twitter. Spurious RST, he sent a photo in of 30 years of his chain keeper history. There it is, look.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, one of them is just a hub, for goodness sake. It's not a chain keeper, it's a hub.
It's the start of a chain keeper museum. I actually did get a tweet as well, which said, here's my chain keeper, and it was just a wheel.
Well, there you go. Now that's
which
a chain keeper.
Does work quite well. And you won't believe this, but I did actually get sent a 3D printed green chain keeper that someone had made, but I've lost it, as in sent on social media, not actually in the post.
I was going to say that's careless.
Yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah. I was impressed.
I had to reply to Spurious RST and ask him what on earth he'd been using his chain keepers for 30 years, because I'm still in the dark. I do not know why you would need one.
You just don't get it, mate.
No, I don't.
Anyway, if you've got any more hacks or bodges, we might just do a clear of chain keepers next week because it's not me on the show. But GCN hack is the
hashtag chain keepers next week
on Twitter and Instagram.
It's time now for Wattage Bazooka! This week's Pro Wattage Bazooka goes to Stefan Schaefer, who was the men's pro winner at the Red Hook Crit. He started on the back row of the grid, rode through the entire field, made the break, and then pretty much soloed to victory. If that's not worthy of a Wattage Bazooka, I don't know what is.
No, well, this is, because the next one comes in, nominated by Dan Kianowski. This is Kai Luan. He lost the lower part of his leg through cancer 4 years ago. Still races for his local university team. However, on a recent training ride, he put out so much power that he broke the foot off his prosthetic.
Whoa, that's some serious power.
That is the most well-deserved Wattage Bazooka I've known in recent times.
Yeah, fantastic. 2 richly deserved wattage bazookas there.
Yeah. Right, if you'd like to nominate yourself or anybody else, you can use the hashtag WattageBazooka on Twitter or Instagram. Comment of the week now. We'll start off with a few comments which came beneath Si's roadside hacks maintenance video. Quite controversial, this one, due to the state of your chain. Jordan Stebbins and Luciano Nano amongst those to point out how black it was. Luciano put, Simon, you were in my eyes the best of the GCN for bike maintenance, but with the condition of that chain, you have disappointed me. It is filthy, how dare you? I will now only watch the old videos where Dan Lloyd, formerly of the Survey test team, showed maintenance tips. Thanks, Luciano. Becca, meanwhile, has a tip. Hack number 6. Always carry a pair of thin disposable vinyl gloves in your saddlebag, Simon.
That's true, actually. That is a hack. We recommended that before. Unfortunately, I didn't have any. No, I can only apologise for the state of my chain. It was a roadside maintenance video, hence why it was supposed to be mid-ride. You know, it was all about...
Deliberately made.
It was all about telling the story, yeah. And we were filming on a gravel road, which also makes, makes your chain more dirty.
Right.
Yeah, basically. No, I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah, sorry. Right, next up, we've got this one. Underneath what wheels are faster, Niels Heldens said, the higher the rim, the higher the debt on my bank account. The lighter the rim, the lighter my wallet.
True, that.
Yeah, no, it is kind of true, actually, yeah. And then finally, underneath our Giro preview show, Jamal Richardson, nice name, just paused 50 Shades Darker to watch this.
I think that's a compliment, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, actually. 50 Shades Darker is supposed to not be a very good film.
Is it not?
So,
I've not seen it.
Well, no, have I, but I've just been told.
Right, on the channel this week then, on Wednesday, we are going to show you how to set a new PB on a climb.
It almost goes without saying that you should also think about your position on the bike, even when it comes to climbing. So if we go back onto our online bike calculator with our same example rider, riding at 260 watts on that same 4-kilometre climb, you will apparently save 20 seconds by riding down here on the drops versus up here on the tops.
Then on Thursday, we've got a double header for you. First up, we give you some essential sportive strategies, and secondly, there's some brand new, very cool tech. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Friday, as ever, is Ask GC Anything.
Yeah, Saturday's Pro Bike will be coming direct from the Giro d'Italia. So Matt and Lasty are already on the ground in Sardinia, getting loads of cool stuff for us. And as well, they'll have some videos coming direct from there too. Sunday, finally, I get to do the first ride on the GCN hand-built bike, so get ready for that one. And then Monday, it is the definitive guide to taping handlebars. Bar taping made easy.
Then Tuesday.
From my model train layout, Swiss rails in Alabama, welcome to the GCN show.
It's time now for Extreme Corner, and this week it's timed downhill racing. Oh yeah, but on mountain bikes. It was the first World Cup of the season from Lord, won by Rachel Atherton, who claimed her 14th successive World Cup victory, and Alex Fayol getting his first ever World Cup. Anyway, needless to say, it's pretty extreme. Whoa.
They are skilled riders, aren't they?
They are, mate.
Very skilled, in fact. I thought there's more bad luck came as downhill mountain biking, but 14 wins on the trot. That is seriously impressive, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Right. Well, we've got some new products in our shop. So...
You got all three?
I've got all three, yeah. I'll give you one, Si. So we've got these brand new GCN caps, which you, of course, wear peak down. Like so. All of the ASOS GCN kit is in stock, the one that I am sporting here, as well as the training one that Si has got over there.
Yes, it's brand new.
The t-shirts that we've been wearing throughout the show, my gold edition one for the 1 million subscribers celebration, that's only on sale now for today, if you're watching this the day that the show comes out. So get in quick if you want to get that one. Si had the white Giro d'Italia special edition t-shirt on, which is also available in black, and that will be available throughout the month of May.
Yeah. Right then, unfortunately, that does bring us to the end of the GCN show. Firstly, before leaving this video, do make sure you have subscribed. It's very easy, just click on the globe. And then if you're after some more content right now, why not click either just down there, which will take you through to our Giro d'Italia preview show, where you get up to date and in the know about everything that you need to know in the month of May, or click down there for a more tech-related video, just how important is wheel depth on climbing speed.
It's annoying me.